I'm a motherfucker who makes things happen. I make shit happen. Just fucking look at you. That's what you are when you're an addict. You're a selfish fuck. Every day, change. Hey brothers, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Porn Reboot Coach. In the Porsche today, we're going to talk about self-image and limiting beliefs and changing the person that you are every day. Now, I'll say this, if I followed conventional wisdom, if I followed the rules that my parents passed down to me, church passed down to me, school passed down to me, society passed down to me, I know this for certain, I would be a porn addict. I would be struggling financially. I would probably have a bunch of kids that I couldn't afford. I would look like shit. I wouldn't be taking care of myself. I would probably look a lot older than I am. I know my lifestyle. And frankly speaking, I probably would be strung up on some other substances like alcohol and so on. I would probably have a very serious daily dependence on those things. All of this changed with my reboot, but I'm not here to talk to you about your reboots today. I'm here to talk to you about how to change who you are every single day. And I just thought about this at the gym, and I was like, this is what I do at the gym. So you guys know I shoot these videos almost daily on my way back from the gym. And at the gym today, I realized that I was incongruent with my self-image. And I realized where it came from. So in a couple of days, I'm going on a trip to Southeast Asia. I call it a trip, but before the pandemic, I spent quite a bit of time there. I love traveling. I haven't traveled internationally since the pandemic. And I'll usually live out in a place and just work from there. So I was going to go to Tokyo, then I was going to go to some places in Southeast Asia, catch up with some family and friends, and do a bunch of work out there. Just different weather. I'm not a big fan of the winter. And it's going to be for a couple of weeks. And I wanted to, spend part of this trip with my girl. It's nice to have somebody exploring these places with you. But she's working. She's a realtor. She's got clients. She's got homes to close. She's got people to take care of. And so she was like, you know what? It's a long trip. We'll do other trips later on in the year or whenever. We have other trips planned. So you do you, man. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. And I was like, all right, fine. Also, she was like, man, these tickets for this trip, I'm not a big fan of material things. You won't see me wearing a nice watch or I'll wear the same type of clothes. Shit, I haven't even, you guys see this shit. I haven't even taken this to get stitched. I really don't give a shit. You see it in my videos all the time. Not a big fan of material things. I like to dress well when I'm, not in the gym. But I like spending money on trips and experiences. That's what one of the things I work hard for. And she was like, well, I can't do it. It's a long trip. And then I realized something. I was just like, man, I would like her to come. Why am I not making this happen? I'm a motherfucker who makes things happen. I make shit happen. And I was like, why am I not making this happen? And I was like, because I'm actually going to be in Tokyo for only about 5 or 6 days. The morning every day, I have business meetings. I have stuff I need to take care of for our company. And then a lot of business stuff coming up and planning, also for some of my other businesses. And the rest of the day would be exploring. And I was like, man, I'm struggling with flying my girl out for just 5 days to Tokyo, right? And I was like, man, that's a limiting belief. It was really limiting me and it was bothering me. And this happened last night. And I was just like, fuck it. I was like, you can take 5 days off, right? And she's like, yeah, I have only one client to see. Somebody else in the real estate office can take care of that. I was like, all right, cool. Let me see if there are more seats on the same flight that I'm taking to Tokyo. And you can come with me to Tokyo, fly round trip, and I'll head on off and have my other adventures in other parts of Asia. And she was like, and so I went ahead and I booked it, right? And even after I booked it, I won't even say how much it was, all right? Because the trip is in a few days, right? It was up there. And I don't fly economy, right? I haven't flown economy for many, many years. It's not a elitist thing. It is a mindset thing, which I'll talk to you guys about in another episode. Just so you guys know, I spent about 6-7 years of my door-to-door career as a recruiter, which meant that every week, every 3 or 4 days, I was sitting in a tiny car, in a rental car. I was flying economy, squeezed up against someone. And I did this. I flew hundreds of flights So once I hit, let's just call it fuck you money status, I was like, you know what? I'm never flying economy. All right. Now, sometimes I have no choice but to fly because the first class flights are full, but I digress. If you guys want me to talk more about that, the mindset around that, just let me know in the comment section and I will shoot a video on it, right? But I booked the ticket. Then this morning I was working out and I was just like, man, something is off. I feel small. And I was like, oh shit. My self-image is not in alignment with flying my girl out on a trip that cost this much money, right? And I have no problem flying her out to another city in the United States. But on a trip like this, it stretched my self-image and my beliefs. And so I was like, fuck it. It's time for us to embody that person, the JK of now. Because this is the important part on the self-image. When I was trying to end my out-of-control behavior, as I've said, it was habit and lifestyle. But I would keep getting stuck at a certain point, and my life would not be moving forward. I was very stagnant. And there's nothing wrong with being stagnant or average or repeating the same routine over and over again. But understand that when you've gone through the tribulations and the trials of ending an out-of-control behavior, you know that it is about constant change and constant challenge. And I had spent so many years, particularly those 18 months, where I had fully rebooted when I was in the late maintenance stage. Every day, change. So after that, I could no longer live a normal life. I needed to be constantly evolving, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And anytime I get stagnant, I can tell. I can just tell I feel a little bit off. And you will feel that way too when you reboot. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a beautiful way to live because every day you're pushing and striving. You're using this body and mind that God, the universe, has given you to its full extent to serve others. You're using it to prove what can be done with it. You're using it to fully experience life. And that's a beautiful thing, guys. So as I was working out, I noticed that something switched in me. And I just became this avatar, right? When I was struggling, I had to create with my lifestyle. And I was stuck. I realized my self-image hadn't changed. The way I view myself hadn't changed. So every time I would experience something good in my life, I would lose it. I'd experience something good in my life, I'd become afraid. Oh, you can't afford it. You can't maintain it. This isn't for people like you. You don't have the skill set. You don't have the things to maintain this thing in your life. Whether it was a relationship with a woman, whether it was something material, whether it was a client I got way back in the day, I was like, oh, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. And I would lose it because I couldn't step into the new self-image. So I had to create, and you have to create if necessary, a version of yourself from the ground up. What does he wear? How does he look? How does his body feel? What does he think? You can take the qualities of all your favorite avatars, right? Whoever it is, your avatar could be Superman, Batman, Aragorn from Lord of the Ring, James Bond, Jesus Christ, whoever it is, you could pick the qualities that you admire most about them and put them together to create this version of you. If necessary, give that version of you a name. And then begin to chase that version of you. By chase, I mean you embody it, but it's so much bigger than you that it takes a lot of energy and efforts to sit into that version of yourself, right? Years ago, the version of me now drove a Porsche, right? Porn Reboot coaching the Porsche was something that was envisioned many, many years ago. Right? But I had to create the person who was driving a Porsche because in my head back then, it sounded ridiculous as fuck. Think about it. Porn Reboot coach in the Porsche. Like it sounded like a joke, something funny somebody would say in an offhand manner. But I don't find those things funny. They are real. I will make them a reality. And that's because of this self-image that is part of the habits, lifestyle, self-image change when it comes to ending out of control behavior. And so, long story short, there was incongruence with my self-image from yesterday. All right, I worked on it in the gym. As I'm working out, I'm looking at my body. I'm like, hey, dude, you already have the physique, which is why I say a biochemistry reboot is very important. If you transform your body, you see what you're capable of. This physical entity is changed. You stop believing that you can change other things. Looking at my body and going like, dude, you're a jacked, ripped motherfucker, right? You're the fucking man. Look at you, bro. Just fucking look at you, right? And slowly, as I worked out, as I saw how strong I was, I walked, got back into the car. I was just like, fuck, dude, you're the man. You created this. Nobody saved you. You had accountability partners, you had amazing mentors, but nobody could install that self-image for you. You, JK, you had to create this guy out here, right? I'm that person again. I'm that person again. I walk different, my head up, carry myself different. And I want you guys to start learning how to do that. This is something that we teach within our implementation and intensive program. It is so critical because if you do not change your self-image, you cannot step into the best version of yourself. You cannot step into the version that you're meant to be. I don't look to society. I don't look to my parents. I don't look to any influencer. I do not look to anybody. Well, let me actually take that back. I have a couple of mentors who are influential, right? And I do look to them. I do borrow their beliefs sometimes. Let me not lie about that. But nobody's going to do it for you. You have to sit down and do it for yourself and create that. So here's what I'd like you to do. I would like you to share with me in the comment section some of the qualities of the person that you would ideally like to be, right? In my case, some of the qualities were strength, were focus, confidence, the ability to communicate confidently, right? That was so big for me because I was introverted, I was scared, I was shy, I had a lot of anxiety. And I always wanted to portray this fucking don't give a fuck attitude. Not bravado, but I wanted it to come from the experiences that I've had, right? I wanted the ability to work hard, right? Work ethic for me was a quality that I wanted because I was lazy. I was constantly distracted. That's what I wanted. Class, right? I'm going to have to stitch this if I want to maintain the class thing. As obviously, I've got a long way to go to start caring for my workout shit, right? Class was something that I also wanted to embody. Compassion was a huge one, right? I had a lot of anger. The framework of that still remains, which is not a bad thing. I choose to keep it there. I think it's important. But compassion was something that was very important. I needed a way to stop being such a selfish fuck because that's what I was when I was an addict. That's what you are when you're an addict. You're a selfish fuck. So I needed to learn how to feel the pain of others and feel it in a way that was sympathetic. Like I struggle with this too. I know what it's like and have a strong desire to help people. Anytime I had a desire to kindness, to compassion, to help, to just do it from this place of caring and helping, I realized as, again, I'm going to say something cliche, I started getting the things I wanted. And it doesn't get easier, guys. The closer you come to your self-image, the more you're going to have to give, right? I can't keep giving the same shit, right? This is why we have the dating reboot program, financial reboot program, biochemistry reboot program, because you have to give more as you become more. It ain't easy. It is probably tougher than it was when my self-image hadn't changed. Like this guy, the responsibilities he has, Jesus fucking Christ. Not just to maintain him, but to grow into this is not me completely. There's still other shit I have to do. To get to that version, boy, there's some work to do. So I hope you found that helpful, something on limiting beliefs, on self-image, and share again your ideal qualities of the avatar you want to embody in the future. I'm JK, your brother in the struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll speak to you later on in the week.